Incoming customer detected.
My wife and I are both disabled. Although hers is from a long-term condition that began at birth, I've been on disability through Social Security for a longer period of time. I'm blind and immunocompromised. She has half of a heart and is even more immunocompromised. She thankfully did not take as long to get approval as the 7 years it took me, but we're glad at least to have some kind of income. Without it, we'd be screwed. But you see, we've been married for 10 years now. When we first decided we wanted to be together for our lifetimes, we debated heavily for months if actually getting married would be the best option. I knew if we did get married, we'd take a hit. The government only allows a certain amount of income in the family, and getting married would likely take us past that edge. If we went over the boundary, well, we'd lose my health insurance, and she would lose hers, and we'd miss out on a lot of income. We're not allowed to save money. Doing so would push us through that margin, and we'd lose income and insurance. We can't have any sort of nest egg to help us, such as when needing a car repair or something worked on our home. All we can do is pray and hold out hope that everything we happen to own remains in good condition, because if it fails, we're probably out of luck. That also means that I, as a blind man who could really use a seeing eye dog, cannot actually do anything to help myself get one. They cost a minimum of $10,000, and we're not allowed to have 1/4 of that in our bank account as a form of savings before losing our income. So that means the people that need that kind of help the most are actually never able to afford it. Now, sure, there are programs available to help, but they're all needs-based and difficult at best to get on the lists for. We are, quite frankly, in enforced poverty because we cannot step outside of the boundaries the government has imposed upon us. One of our children has a lot of mental incapacities. They need treatment and medications, a lot of them. If we skirt the line of income, they lose their Medicaid, and we have to pay out of pocket for everything. That would murder us. One medication for them alone would cost us over $1,300 a month. I'm graced with only receiving half of that much in disability. It'd be impossible to pay for that medication without assistance. So we remain stuck. We remain poor because we have no choice. When you're disabled, you have to deal with a lot of things. You have to take the brunt of the stigmas that come from outside of the house. Well, you don't work, you must be lazy. That stigma, though, is even worse when your illness happens to be invisible. Then there's the depressions, the beating yourself ups, the horrible things that you tell yourself in the middle of the night when no one's around to hear. Those are killers, and they really don't stop even after you've accepted your conditions. They still have so much power over the perception that you have of yourself, and any sense of self-worth must be fought for daily. And perhaps the worst part of it is that you can't have hope. Taking myself as example again, as a writer on a platform where I can earn some money for my words, I have to be cautious. As a video creator, I have to be cautious. Not for the things that I talk about. That part doesn't really matter. I'm proud of what I write and do videos about and talk about, as anyone serving stories to the public really should be. But it's that potential of income that I have to be concerned with. I love to write. I love making videos. I love knowing I can make a little scratch off of the work that I can put out there for your consumption. Crafting fictional worlds, relating my history and my experiences to people out there, knowing that I'm leaving a legacy of language for my children. Those are things that I take pride in, even if some days it's difficult to get that self-satisfaction going. But that hope comes with a price, and it's a big one. In the back of my mind and on our financial papers, I always have to be aware that the shoe can drop. I can't actually really fully enjoy the successes like someone not on disability can. If you're not disabled, you're not beholden to some governmental entity as a matter of your survival. It might be hard to understand. I can't enjoy it because I have to have conversations with my wife about the fact that my successes might have to lead to our divorce. That's not due to us drifting apart or suddenly having issues or me, going out and buying a BMW and going on a rampage or something. But it's because if I make too much, she loses out on her insurance. I lose what little I'm graced with, and we'd find ourselves in a worse financial bind than we were before I even started the journey. I'd have to divorce my wife, the person that I love and adore with the fury 1,000 suns could never match, because we are disabled, and the two of us are expected to remain poor. And that's a hard cross to bear, and I'm not alone with it. There are thousands of people in this same position right now. Thousands of people across the United States alone go through conversations like this on a daily basis. Many people avoid marrying altogether because they're in even more dire straits and would get screwed over before they even had a chance to do anything. It's the reality we disabled people have to face, and it's inhumane on every level. I'm not sure what can be done about all of it. Universal income? Well, maybe, but that too comes with some issues that everyone would have to deal with. Up the limit on what disabled people can earn before being stuck in this kind of position? Well, that too still leaves the issue of having to deal with a sect of people forced to live within a small bubble of acceptability. We're labeled, we're put into a box, and we're forgotten about by the majority of abled people. I think that's really the crux of understanding all of this. Disabled people already have a lifetime of impairment on finding peace, security, and joy in life. We also have to fit within this tiny frame of what people who aren't disabled say that we should be ramrodded into, and screw you if you want to try to uplift yourself from it. There has to be an equity somewhere. I'm just not sure what we can do to get there. Hello, Rose.
I saw you taking a little detour out there to talk to that overseer of yours.
This land is his land, and none else are welcome.
Enemy sighted! Guys, they're here!
Okay. Oh, I don't know. Where'd you come from?